How many of you show up in your corporate role so polished up, so clean, so corporate, so not yourself? I mean, how often do you show up like that? We are getting mad at people not giving us what we want and not treating us the way we want to be treated, but we aren't even showing up as our authentic self. Do you understand this, right? We've been showing up in a way that we were conditioned to show up. A lot of us call this code switching. And some of us have said, as a result of this, I have this thing called imposter syndrome. And that's because you've been working so hard at being something that you're not. And you're so scared of yourself. You don't even know who to be. Is it the company the problem? Or is it something that we need to work on in ourselves to understand, to resolve our own problem? Okay, don't get me wrong. Listen, I'm a civil rights attorney. I've been a corporate executive. I understand what you're talking about, right? Like, well, you don't understand, Diana. They do this, they do that, and they have. Listen, I know they do, but I want to ask you the question: how well do you know yourself? How wide is your identity gap, right? I talk about this thing called identity gap all the time, and that is who you are behind the scenes and who you are in front of people. If it's so wide, you have imposter syndrome. If your identity gap is so wide, you are not even close to showing up as your true authentic self. And I get it. I'm not saying that you would do everything that you do behind the scenes in front of other people. But I'm going to tell you something. It is a lot of heavy work trying to be something that you're not. And that's the reason why you're frustrated on your job. You don't want to let anyone know who you are, and it's causing you so much internal damage. And so I want to just work on being yourself. I want you to learn who she is from the inside out. I want to let you know you bought into a system that is not yours. That system was not designed for you. So there is quite a bit of work that we have to do on us. And in the Rise with Diana community, we're very, very serious about being who we are behind the scenes. People used to tell me, I wrote a book called Inspiration in My Shoes, and it tells the story of my childhood and all of the things that I had to do and I had to endure. People used to say, oh, you're so brave, Diana. I could never do that. I could never let people know who I truly am, because then what would happen? I would be embarrassed, or, oh my gosh, what would we do? See, but sis, the reality is you want people to treat you like you want to be treated. On the inside, the person who you are behind the scenes is screaming to come out. Your fear of embarrassment, your fear of judgment, your fear of failure is holding you back. And it has a lot to do with your lack of clear identity. Your gap is so wide. And you want to know something? I know that the identity gap that we as women are challenged with relates so deeply to the gender gap. You see, I feel like when we really get clear as women of who we are, remove any of the stuff that's holding us back, old habits, things that don't work for us. I mean, we're women, and so we show up differently in the workplace, but we were told we couldn't be that way, right? Or we followed a code that says that we shouldn't be that way. And so it is time, my sister friends, to be able to undo and unravel those things, right? So what I want this video, I want to give you a couple things to think about. And I didn't personally come up with this identity gap. It comes from Dr. Joe Dispenza from his book, How to Breaking the Habits of Being Yourself, How to Lose Your Mind and Gain a New One. Amazing book. And he goes into detail about the identity gap. And you know what he says? That the person you are behind the scenes and the person that you show the world, in the middle of that, you have shame, guilt, blame, unforgiveness, and all these things that push people away from seeing who you truly are. And as a result, you just don't trust that you can show up as that full, authentic self. And I'm here to tell you, you can. You can. And I want to give you the steps to be able to do that. The first thing that I want you to think about is, who are you behind the scenes? Who are you behind the scenes? Write that down. Don't edit yourself. Write it all down. Like, do you like to be silly? Do you like to be loud? Do you like to be quiet? Whatever that is, write those things down. And then write down what you stop people from seeing about you at work, right? Because people say, oh, this is my personal side, this is my professional side. That's so 1985. That is so old. And that is not how we're ever going to close the gender gap, okay? So write that down. Write down who you are behind the scenes, what you stop people from seeing. And then the third thing I want you to do is write down what you fear. What do you think is going to happen to you if you show up as your true, authentic self? Write it down. And then I want you to kind of get to the point where you can think about what it would feel like if you did show up as your authentic self, right? What is it going to feel like? What are some of the things that are going to be removed when you do show up as your authentic self? These are the steps that I want you to take. I know it's not going to be an easy process, but I guarantee you that once you start working on this work, and this is what we do in the Rise Advocates Academy, we spend a whole entire module on the identity gap. And this is not something that's going to happen overnight, right? But we're going to get taking steps today. So let's start working on closing the identity gap. And what if we all started working on this? What if we all started working on closing the identity gap? I would say we wouldn't have this gender gap, because we would start to redefine the way corporate America should be inclusive of women. We would have these policies and procedures completely worked out. And all of us would be reshaping corporate America, right? And then we would be able to earn the money that we believe we rightfully should earn according to the terms and conditions that work best for us in corporate America. You picking up what I'm laying down? This is good work. This is good work. Hey, if you like this type of content, keep following me, because this is the type of stuff that we're going to be talking about on my YouTube channel, because my goal is to help corporate women speak up, advocate for themselves, use their authentic voice, get rid of all of this shame, this guilt, and all the things that keep holding us back. Develop habits that are going to make us feel confident, courageous, and bold from the inside out. That's why I've developed the Rise Advocates Academy. I hope that you can check it out. Just go to riseadvocatesacademy.com, learn more, just walk around the place, see if it fits, or how you're at the store, and, try it on, see if it fits for you. Okay? All right. Go after it. Like and subscribe if you want more content like this.